welcome to my channel. Well, this isn't all of them, but this is a plate full of daggers, basically. It covers a lot of them. I say it's not all of them because I'm sure I've got some hiding somewhere. And later on, I don't want to say, oh man, I said this is my entire collection. Anyways, daggers, they're double-edged knives, and their main purpose is piercing. Now, they can do slashing too. Slashing is also there, but the tip is really designed for piercing. Now, it's not a tanto tip. A tanto tip is designed for piercing also, but it's a stronger type of tip designed to go up against like armor and stuff like that. Some kind of armor. So this type of tip, if you were to do a torture test to it and go like this and twist around everything, a good chance the tip's going to break off, because that's not what this is designed for. It's designed for a forward, type of stab, or a slash this way or that way. It's not designed for batoning. Like this is the Fury. Now, if you watch one of the shorts that I did where I'm acting crazy and I'm out there stabbing things, this is a primitive eating utensil type of thing. But what it really is almost like a sharpened nail. It comes down to a point. They did this. I didn't. This is the way it came. And it's kind of a copy of this is a copy of an OSS weapon, a triangular blade. And guess what this one, I've had it for a long time, but guess what it's called also? Fury. What do they call this guy? Fury. So there's all different kinds of Furies, but this is, like I said, an OSS assassination type of weapon. It can be held in the palm. And the thing about a triangular cut or a stab is it's really hard to stitch up these wounds. So this thing is really designed to be, this is in the palm of your hand, into the vitals. These edges are not, they're sort of sharp, but it's not designed as a slashing weapon. And it's got these, you can call them blood grooves, because they really will, like have blood channel in them. I don't know if that's, what they're intended to do, but I'm going to take this one out there and try the pokey effect, but it should be as good as this. And what, if you think about it, what is the best thing to get through thick material and everything? An awl or a needle, like a sail awl. Now you're going slower, and it's not designed for a lot of torsional, stress, lateral stress and everything. But what is a tip like? It's pointed. And what is a dagger? Or a toothpick or whatever. It's pointed. Let's call it an Arkansas toothpick. Pointed, right? Pointed tip. Now you can reinforce them, like it's got a fuller here. This is not really a blood groove, it's more of a fuller. But it saves some weight, and it goes right down the spine of the knife there. So yeah, this is, there was a time where no self-respecting person walking around of age didn't have a boot knife. There was a phase, there was a time, when everybody had a boot knife or wanted a boot knife. And I got this one in right after 1977, I think it is. This guy right here, A.G. Russell Steen. We can break out the magnifying glass. I didn't find the magnifying glass, but I was looking through this one right here, and the Fairbairn knife also, but this is not a Fairbairn. This is Rex Applegate design dagger. But yeah, they've been around, for a long time, in Roman times and stuff like that. And Randall. We got different knife makers in here. This is a Levine's guide. But he was talking about Bowie knives. And a lot of Bowie knives were pioneers of modern knives. Spear points look a lot like daggers, but you know, you've got that false edge on top, and it's not sharpened. And that's mainly because the advantage of a dagger is you can slash from both sides, both ways cut also, you know, so you have that thrusting ability, you know, the penetrating ability of a dagger, you know, it goes in there, whereas a tanto will do it also. Now these are thin tantos, so, but the shape and everything else, the bevel just makes it slope in there. But some you can get that are obtuse. But yeah, this goes in pretty well. Goes in better than the. I'm not thrusting real hard. Also, depends on where I'm hitting. Oh, this is folded, so this might have hit two pieces of it. It's not an accurate test. But yeah, little daggers, you can control them. You can get in there. You can do some stickage with them. Like with the neck knife, man, this thing just goes right through it, like butter. Of course, I sharpened this guy. It might have something to do with it. And so if you approach them as daggers or defensive knives, what are they designed to do? Are they designed to baton? No, you couldn't baton with them, really, because, you know, the other edge is going to split it. So right there, you eliminate a lot of the silly stuff. This dagger I'm carrying around for self-defense, it didn't do very well at batoning. Well, yeah, it's specially made for something. Slashing, slicing, and slipping between ribs, because you could stick on a bone. If you hit a bone, these are two ribs, and the ribs are protecting vital organs. If you hit a bone, it's going to deflect your blade. It may even, you know, stick in there. But if you get in between the ribs, you can get into more vital organs easily, you know, a lot quicker than if you run into bone. That's the main thing these tips are designed to withstand, is bone. Not penetrate through this steel right here or an oil drum. Now, if you watch Forged Fire, they'll put it through those tests and everything. But that's just they're testing the hardness and the tempering of the blade. But it wasn't designed to do that. It was designed to cut, face it, human flesh, a human anatomy, you know. And they've been around for quite a while, for a long time. And that's their main purpose. They're not really hunting knives or stuff like that. They're self-defense knives. And they kind of fall out of favor because they're specialized, really. I mean, if you take this out for camping, what are you going to use it for? Yeah, you can poke your food, but you'd be better off with using one of these to poke your food, because you're not going to need the double-edged cutting capabilities unless you're attacked by a wild boar or Sasquatch, or you know, it wouldn't hurt to have it, you know. But you're carrying around all the size and weight for limited capabilities. Now, if you got something small, like a little dagger on you, now you're not carrying a lot of weight. And yeah, if this is just specialized, or what? So what? You know, what, 3 or 4 ounces? But you still have all the capabilities to slash. Like, you don't have the reach, you know, the length of a regular dagger. And in a lot of places, these are considered illegal. So they kind of get around it by having a dagger shape, but only one side is sharp. And you got to guess which one. This one stabbed a couch, and I mean a bed and everything else. So, yeah. I had fun stabbing with that. But this one right here, I it was given to me in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, and I don't remember what I did, but I broke the tip. The tip was even finer than this, and I broke the tip off. I just reprofiled it, a little bit, and it's a little bit blunter. But man, this tip was, just like Gerber's. The problem with you get with the super fine tip is that it's not going to take a lot of torsional twisting and stabbing. And if it fails on you in combat, well, it's already penetrated through the flesh and into the bone by then, so you'll be able to buy another knife if you live through it. Did its duty. But yeah, they've been around for a while. Specialized, these can be worn in a little wrist, thing. Worn up in your wrist. You're just carrying around and you pull it out, whip it out. Kidney strike. Or whatever, vital organ you were hitting. Yeah, and if you've ever watched a movie, Samuel Jackson was in it, and he was a school teacher in up like New York or something. I think it was called The Substitute. But he testified against some gang member that was in his class, and the gang member said he was a high school student and everything, but he said he was going to get back at him, and he came up behind him with a nail on a piece of wood, and he got him up against the wall, and he just kidney struck him a lot, and so the movie starts later on. He's transferred to California. He's still trying to teach class and everything, but he's got the same problem. He's just got a different kind of game, Latino gangs and stuff, that he's got to deal with. And he didn't want any trouble. He's just a teacher. He just wants. Now he's a substitute teacher because he just don't want to put up with all the hassle. And what did it? A nail, a nail. So I mean that's a fallacy of outlawing certain size weapons and stuff like that, is because nails will usually be available, and people can walk around with nails, and it won't take much to turn it into a weapon. It's the intent and the mind. That's why, when they outlawed daggers, like, oh, these things are the main thing that got daggers out of use is they weren't as useful. They're not quite as strong. A spine. This one's got a false edge on it. It's a benchmark. Not Benchmade, a benchmark. Ninja. A Lexan handle. And I've got the original sheath for it here. Little tab. Clips into one of these holes. It goes in one way on this sheath. There's no snaps. This is not for like scout carry or anything. It's just the way the sheath was made. Here's a little belt. You can put it on a belt loop like that. But it also came with a little harness that you could wear it underneath, like your left armpit or something. And see, I think the emblem has to be out. So it's kind of got a dagger, effect to it. But you have to remember which side. This is a hollow ground too. You have to remember which side is sharp, because the other side is, put your thumb on there if you want. This kind of gets in the way. And this is like a chisel. I kind of sharpened it a little bit, but it's not really a sharpened edge up there. Yeah, I don't know why I'm messing up, but there you go. So, in summary, I think daggers, because of the restrictions of them and the limited function and everything else, I think that was one of the main reasons why they're not as popular as they once were. But I mean, they're still available. You could still get them. But like I said, because of the legal restrictions in many places, even here in Texas, they just had the term dagger, under the law. If you had a dagger on you, a double edge, knife, uh, if you got caught with one, it was illegal. Whereas if you had a buck 110, since it only had one edge, it was perfectly legal. What are you going to take the chance with? Yeah, there. If you pull a dagger out, you know that you can slice with either side. You know that either it that is an advantage. Mainly like if you miss on your first cut, instead of having to flip your wrist around and everything else, you can just come back with the other edge. So it's like economy of motion, I guess. And they still have the you know a needle-like point that's going to be effective. So I I think that's why they're not as popular as they once were. A lot of things go through phases. It might be a movie, uh, like Rambo, First Blood. You got into a lot of survival knife, hollow handled, sawtooth looking backs that weren't really saw teeth. It's kind of like car designs too. You can look at car designs when fins and they were shaping them like aircraft. They even had like little holes in the side by the engine for like exhaust ports for an airplane, and fins on the back of the thing. Like rudders and stuff. But anyways, um, knife stuff does that too. The design itself is not like a new fad. Daggers have been around. You can go back to Roman times and before. Even the very first arrows and stuff are basically a flying dagger. If you think about it, it's double edged, um, and that barb at the end on an arrow, doesn't it look a lot like this? The hand guard, and the notch on the end of the arrowheads that you see is for wrapping around, secure it to you know, the shaft of the wood and stuff. But still, that's my thought on daggers. I like them. I think like this, carrying this one on the waist and everything. If you reach it and grab it, when you pull out that's the sharpened edge. You don't have to think, oh, have I had that thing set up scout carry or something else differently, and now I'm hitting them with the back of an edge. If you're doing a slash, so it has that advantage to it. But like I said, if it's illegal already to carry, then yeah, you got to take your chances. I'm not condoning illegal behavior and stuff like that, but sometimes it's like the motto is it's better to be tried by 12 than carried by 6, because the chances of you getting harmed are a lot greater than the chances of you getting hassled by the law in some situations. And like I said, I'm not condoning illegal, behavior and stuff like that. That's on you how you want to do stuff and what you want to carry. It's just like this. This is personal preference. If this makes you feel good carrying one of these, and it's legal to do it and everything, and you feel confident with it, go for it. I'm not here to tell you what you have to do or don't have to do, or like that I'm an expert, but I have carried a boot knife for many years, and many a time just a little blade like that sting, just having it on you was enough of a confidence thing that you didn't have to panic as much when stuff was going down. You knew if it came down to where you had to defend yourself, at least you weren't there with just your hands. You had something to do a little bit more damage if it came down to that. And yeah, it's like a security blanket, a confidence thing. Now you can be a little bit more calm in a tense situation if you know you can handle yourself. You don't have to look, like panic, like a caged animal. Oh, I'm trapped. What am I to do? And they run around and panic. The calm person, a lot of times, the person that keeps their wits about them, is the one that's going to survive a stressful situation a lot better. But anyways, I've rambled on far too long. Thank you for watching this. Let me know in the comments if you ever used a dagger, what your thoughts are on them. I'm sure a lot of people are going to say, they don't like them or they're illegal and stuff like that. But I'm just curious if anybody still carries daggers or still likes to use them, like boot knives and stuff like that. Anyways, thanks for watching and have a nice day.